I'm not sure how, but somehow it's already week 6 of the 2025 college football season. Welcome into Got It Covered. Giovanni Heater alongside Raza Umarani with you. And man, it's starting to fly by already. Week 6 is upon us.
Yes. Can you believe there are some teams that after this week are going to be halfway done with their seasons?
I don't want to think about it because we
Halfway
wait for football for
done.
so long.
It's just, and then it goes by in a jiffy. But yeah, it's hard to believe we're here. It's October finally. It feels like starting to feel like it up here too. You know, it can bust out the quarter zip, can bust out the hoodie, wear it in confidence. You walk outside, you get that smell of leaves hitting the ground, the crisp air hitting your cheeks. It feels like fall. And I'm grateful for that. But come on, football, slow down. You just got here. Don't leave me yet.
This season's been really, really fun because I feel like just now, and it's still not completely clear, but just now we're starting to maybe get a picture as to who the top teams are. And the fascinating
Mhm.
thing about it is pretty much none of them are the teams we thought were going to be at the top, except Ohio State. Other than that, it seems to
Mhm.
be a slew of teams that we knew would be good, but not quite the national relevance that they're at. So I'm not saying 2007. Not saying we're getting that kind of chaos, but I'm all for this modern era of college football, where you really do have to see it play out all season long. And you can't point to a couple of teams the first couple of weeks and be like, yep, that's who's making the playoff.
Yeah, I don't think we would have had a thought about Texas Tech or Ole Miss or Oklahoma being top 10 playoff contenders as the calendar flips to October. But here we are. Those teams are now the playoff spots are theirs to lose at a time like this. So that's why we do this. That's why we love the sport. We said it in the preseason, right? In 2024, teams like Indiana and SMU were not even, and they weren't even an afterthought. They were
Sure.
in the garbage bin, and then they rose to national prominence. So that's why we do it. That's why we love the sport. And trust me, with a month and change, 2 months and change left, it's still got plenty of, this web is just going to get more intricate and intricate as we go along.
So we got our week 6 picks here. Let's start in the SEC. Number 16, Vanderbilt on the road this year in Tuscaloosa to take on number 10, Alabama. This is where College Game Day is going. The Crimson Tide coming off the heels of a huge win in Athens against Georgia. They're 10.5-point favorites. We all know Vanderbilt pulled off the magical upset last year in Nashville. They carried the goalpost all the way down Broadway and tossed it into the river. Alabama, you have to think out for blood a little bit this year. And Clark Lee, Diego Pavia, that entire program believes that they could win the Super Bowl. So definitely a fascinating matchup. And we've been looking forward to this one. Dare I say that if this was not the Vanderbilt logo and you implement Texas A&M or some other logo in the SEC that's the same echelon team as Vanderbilt really at this point, you'd be looking at this with bigger eyes, right? And for whatever reason, because it's Vanderbilt, it's still not getting the same amount of oomph behind it. I almost ask our audience to look at this one with an open mind heading into the weekend.
Yeah, because Vanderbilt is a very, very good team. I mean, I understand their resume isn't anything crazy. You know, like they have handled teams on their schedule like Virginia Tech, South Carolina, who are fine. Virginia Tech's not very good to be. I mean, we know that firsthand. South Carolina is not the contender or anything close to it that we expected, but it still says something to dispatch of any teams easily, particularly in the Power Four, particularly in your own conference. And that South Carolina game was on the road. They went into a hostile environment in prime time and just put a whooping on South Carolina. So this Vanderbilt team is very good. They deserve to be 5-0, and they're going to give Alabama everything they've got. I mean, I understand Alabama's a double-digit favorite in this game, but I wonder if they should be, because I think Alabama is the best team in the SEC. I said that earlier in the week, but this is not going to be an easy task for them. This isn't like your daddy's Vanderbilt squad, like you mentioned. We need to look at them as if they are. It's a 5-0 SEC team
They
with really
should
good
probably be
metrics
in the
across
top
the board.
10 or pushing that envelope.
I don't disagree. Like,
But take the logo blinders off. And I know it's hard to do, but take the logo blinders off.
right, like Oklahoma is the number 5 team in the country right now. Like, do we really think Oklahoma's the 5th best team in America?
I think
But
Auburn and South Carolina might as well be the same team.
right, and I know Oklahoma beat Michigan, but like, So, yeah, Vanderbilt's going to give them everything they got, man. We know how cool Diego Pavia is. They've got a ton of talent on offense and a really experienced, talented, fast defense. They are going to compete with Alabama in this game. I'm probably going to take Vanderbilt to cover and not think twice about it. But it's tough to go into Bryant-Denny and win like this. I'm just going to be safe and take Alabama to win this game. But I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a dogfight. I think it's going to be low scoring, Gio. I know these high-powered offenses like to put up points, and Ty Simpson's playing at an elite level. But I think it's going to be like a 23-20 type of finish. Give me the Tide to pull it out, but Vanderbilt earns everybody's respect if they don't have it already. Probably stay in the top 25 moving forward and continue trekking on in a elite trajectory under Clark Lee.
It's almost as if it shouldn't make sense, but Vanderbilt, every time we doubt him, continues to prove us wrong, right? So
Right.
I'm going to take Vanderbilt to cover. I do that with some hesitance because I do really think Alabama's next level after seeing them last week, and I know they lost to Florida State. That's why you play an entire season, right? That's why you don't decide things after 1 week of football. It feels like they got over a hump, flipped a switch, kicked things into another gear for the first time under Kalen DeBoer. Not just the first time this year, the first time under Kalen DeBoer last week. I think Ty Simpson's one of the best quarterbacks in college football. And I think that's going to be the difference, right? Who can make one less mistake? Because I do think Vanderbilt's going to match up pretty well physically. Clark Lee's done a really nice job of putting up a roster that can compete in the SEC. I do like Ty Simpson's chances to be the guy that makes one less mistake than Diego Pavia. And it all comes down to style of play. It's put on a platter for Simpson to be systematically great, right? And then Vanderbilt on the other side has to lean so heavily on Pavia. Think about even in the Alabama game last year, how many times did Pavia make this play that you're like, wow, what an unbelievable play. Luck runs out at some point, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying their luck's going to completely run out. I think they're going to give them a game. I like them to cover because 10.5 is a big number, but I do like Alabama, especially in Tuscaloosa, to get it done. I think there's a slimmer of a chance. I think Alabama wins this big. And we're looking at Alabama like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
That's who we thought they were going to be.
Right.
So I think that's still on the table as well. Two outcomes I see. Vanderbilt gives them a heck of a fight. Bama still wins. Or Alabama smokes them. And we're looking at Alabama big time. So I don't see Vanderbilt winning this game, but put it on the bulletin board. You know, that's what Clark Lee and Diego Pavia would love to do with that. Like they're watching, got it covered. But
yeah, well, you never know. I do think they're gonna put up a fight. I just want to say I have a funny story about last year's game. It was the same weekend. It was first week of October, and I was out in California covering Virginia Tech at Stanford. And so that game was a 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific kick on like ACC Network. The Vandy Bama game was like the 4:50. You know how SEC Network has those weird kickoff times? Yeah. So it was like a 4:15 kick Eastern.
So weird.
On the SEC Network. So by the time Tech had wrapped up that win against Stanford and we finished all the post-game media stuff, get back to the Stanford Stadium press box, that was when like Vanderbilt was closing in on the win. And they didn't have it on TVs there. If I recall correctly, I don't think they had TVs in that press box. So and
they probably don't get the SEC Network.
That's also true. So me and our good friend, our mentor, our teacher, Bill Roth, stood side by side watching it on my phone, like at the Stanford like media meal area, like losing our minds because Vanderbilt pulled off the upset. So every time I think of that game, I think of watching that ending with Mr. Bill Roth in Stanford, California, which is on the other side of the country. It's fun weekend, fun time, and I'll never forget that.
That's funny. We were both away. I was in Columbus that weekend.
That's right.
Watching Ohio State beat Iowa. Right. So yeah, fascinating. Let's move on from this one and go to the place that I thought College Game Day should have gone. That's just me.
But they lost last week. That's the thing.
I know. It took the wind out of the sails, and they probably would have been there had they not lost.
Right.
But I'm talking about, of course, Florida State at Miami. Florida State drops all the way to 18th in the AP poll for whatever that's worth. And then Miami clocks in at 3. I think you can make a serious argument for them to be number 2 or even number 1 in the country. Pretty interchangeable at number 1. We've had that conversation. Plain and simple, Miami's a national championship looking football team. Florida State, I really thought was 8th in the country was perfect. I was like, they are a top 10 team. They look it. I think Castellanos is awesome. I think Mike Norvell hitting the portal again, and everything's back churning the right way in Tallahassee. That was after they beat Alabama. And then you really think about it, they didn't play anybody. And then they played Virginia and lost, right? I think Virginia's good. Wasn't a crazy atmosphere. There were a lot of Florida State fans there too. So hard to consider atmosphere. The offense was humming. Florida State's defense was surrendering a ton of points in that game. Obviously, it was a shootout, goes to double overtime. There's something about this game for me, and I know rivalries throw it all out the window, this, that, and the other.
Yes.
I just have this gut feeling about this game that Miami is going to smoke Florida State. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I'm just so impressed with Miami. And we've seen things unravel under Mike Norvell. I'm not saying they're going to unravel completely. This could be his college football playoff team still. I mean, this very well could be a preview of the ACC championship game, especially if Georgia Tech messes around in Winston-Salem again.
That's true.
You know, Georgia Tech sometimes can't get out of its own way and is always good for a dud or two as the season goes. That's if Haynes King stays healthy. So I think we could be seeing a preview of the ACC title game here, but there's just something in me. Miami, man, in the trenches, they're so impressive. There's nothing that Carson Beck can't do, and he has the weapons to get the ball out. They have a good run game. Their defense looks so solid. Like, across the board, they might be one of the most well-rounded teams in college football because they can really do it all. Like, you want to talk about Alabama, we're like, okay, well, it's their offense that's looking really good. And you want to talk about different Ohio State. Okay, well, we haven't seen a ton out of the offense because they haven't really had to show it yet, right? But their defense, man, that defense is next level, right? And it's like with Miami, first of all, they're proven because they've played good teams. They played Florida's defense and they played Notre Dame. Feel good about that. They're battle tested. And on top of it, you know, they're doing it in all phases. The one worrisome for me, though, is this game is in Tallahassee, and the place is going to be absolutely bonkers.
Yes, it is. I am surprised. I'm not surprised you think Miami's going to win. I think a lot of us think Miami's going to win. I'm surprised you think it's going to be like they're going to run away with it. That is kind of surprising to me because Florida State is still very good despite what happened last week.
I agree. I don't know. It's a gut feeling, bro. I have no explanation for it.
Short week, relatively long trip. I know it's still the ACC, but like 3-ish hour flight on a short week, never easy. I agree with what you said. In a rivalry game, you can throw everything out the window. Like, listen, I grew up around the game, right? The Ohio State-Michigan rivalry. I remember 2018, right? Ohio State had duds against Iowa and Purdue. And then when they played undefeated Michigan, they dropped 62 on them. And in this absolute rout where Dwayne Haskins goes crazy. I remember 2021, Michigan lost at Michigan State. Remember Kenneth Walker going crazy in that game? Yep. Then later in the year, when they go to Columbus, they put the smackdown on, or maybe that game was in Ann Arbor. They put the smackdown on Ohio State, who went into that game either undefeated or with one loss. So like we always expect because they faltered earlier in the season that the team that's been more consistent is going to win. But really, you said it. You can throw so much out the window. Gio, this is going to sound weird, but I probably would have picked Miami to win this game if Florida State had won last week. But because they lost, because they lost, I think they kind of rally the troops, even with Miami coming off a bye. I think they rally the troops. I think they get ready for this game. And I think Florida State beats Miami outright in this one. Even though, dude, what did I say earlier in the week? I think Miami is the best team in the country. But I think this is the type of game where Norvell puts together a game plan where I think he outcoaches Mario Cristobal in this game.
Okay.
I think Carson Beck finally makes that odd mistake. And I think that Florida State can compete with Miami up front, which allows them to have just the ability late for Thomas Castellanos to make a play to put them over the top. This is going to be like that Miami-Florida State game from like 2017 where Miami won it on like the last play of the game. I think that one was also in Tallahassee, except this time I think Florida State gets it done in the end. Give me Castellanos, give me the Noles. I think they bounce back and shake up the ACC even more.
All right. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I don't have anything to back this. It just, again, it's a gut feeling type of thing. I'm so impressed with Miami, and we've yet to see Norvell truly bounce back, right? Undefeated. Then you saw what happened last year. So this is the first time. This is a massive opportunity because you can put another notch in Norvell's belt if he wins this game. Like, okay, we lost a road ACC game to a ranked team. Like if you're a Florida State fan, you're hoping Virginia runs the table at this point, right?
Yeah, you can play them again in the ACC championship.
Exactly. I don't know. We haven't seen it, but we've seen Mario Cristobal not get up for the moment either. So we're gonna learn something about each of these coaching staffs. I think. I as an ACC fan, I can't wait to watch this football.
Me neither. I'm stoked. I'm really excited. Miami, Florida State always lives up to the hype.
But this is the first time in a minute that it's been this big, right?
That is 100% true. Yes.
It hasn't felt like this in a second.
Yeah, I think like that 2017 game would have been big if DeAndre Francois never got hurt early in the year. Then like when Florida State's been good, Miami hasn't been, and when Miami's been good, Florida State hasn't been. This is the first time they've concurrently been good since like 2015 maybe. So the stars are gonna be out in Tallahassee for sure. It's gonna be an electric sight. Dude, Campbell Stadium, can't wait to watch it.
This was supposed to be the year, and this is a minor, tiny tangent, and then we're gonna get right back on schedule. This was supposed to be the year. Once we saw Florida State beat Alabama, like there was a split second. Literally, it was like an hour-long window until Clemson lost to LSU that I was like, holy smokes, it's gonna happen. We're finally gonna get, for the first time ever, a year where Miami, Clemson, and Florida State are all like elite, like all in like the top 10, top 15. Like the ACC is about to be at its peak. And then Clemson lost. And then now Clemson is what it is. And now you got Florida State losing at Virginia. And it turns out it's really just Miami. But Florida State can change that this weekend.
And I think that they will. I think this is a get-right spot for them. Again, if they won last week, I would have picked Miami in this game. But I think there's going to be a level of urgency in that Seminole program. And I think that they chop down the Miami Hurricanes.
You know who I actually want to see win? Actually, I think I want to see Miami win because I think the ACC needs to have a horse in the race nationally.
Right. A one-seed contender.
You know what I'm saying? So we'll see how it all shakes out. One more game to dive deep into, and then we're gonna switch it up a little bit today. We're gonna go upset picking, and not necessarily picking the upset, but what games to look out for that you might be sleeping on, but the underdog's gonna have a little bit of a chance. But first, we're gonna chat about number 24 Virginia. We just talked about them beating Florida State. They're going on the road to take on Louisville, L&N Federal Credit Union Stadium, the house that Lamar Jackson built. This, buddy, we've been to a lot of cool places.
Dude, it is so cool.
It's one of the most underrated spots we've ever been to. No question.
I wish they filled it up because they don't.
It's criminal. I know.
They can't. I mean, this is the Louisville problem is they are the second most popular college at best in their own state, and they play in a major market city. Like it's kind of the same problem Miami has. It's just they're not the brand that Miami is. They can't fill up the Yum Center. They can't fill up L&N Stadium, which is a shame.
It's a big stadium too.
They are two of the coolest places we have ever been.
Those might be my favorite too. That and probably I'm always going to call it Heinz Field.
Acrisure Stadium. You were going to say
that Heinz spot was electric. Not only that, the press box was insane. First of all, they had pierogies. I mean, it makes sense.
Of course.
It makes sense. But they were like really good pierogies, right? And then, dude, like the press box, the seats were like leather seats, granite countertops. They still had the New England Patriots play-by-play boards were still taped to the wall from the Sunday before, because we were in like the visiting NFL radio, because they actually have NFL booths, college booths, but since we were like extra student radio that's not typically there, they put us in an NFL booth, and I was just like, this is peak right here, man.
It's like first class.
Oh yeah. NFL is just a different operation, and it was pretty much the same setup at Miami, which again, NFL stadium. So, but Louisville was up there. That was a good medium meal too, didn't they have?
It was delicious.
Beef tenderloin.
Yeah, was it that or was it brisket? I don't remember. I just remember.
It was tenderloin.
Sliced.
Brisket's like barbecue.
And they had we're getting so sidetracked. They had like tortellini too. It was
True.
delicious.
True.
Delicious.
We ate good. We ate good. We ate really good. That stadium, dude, like that when I forget all the time that addition, literally like the Michael Vick effect at Virginia Tech. They put on the south end zone after Vick, and they put on the south end zone at Louisville after Lamar Jackson with the Adidas seats. It's
Yep.
sick. It's awesome.
Very cool.
Very cool. Let's get back on the rails here and talk about the Virginia Cavaliers playing Louisville. Louisville's 4-0, bro. Virginia's 3-1 and they're
Quietly.
ranked in the top 25. This is a huge game in the ACC because this is pretty much a battle for who's the fourth best team. You'd probably argue. I don't think that a win puts either one of these above Miami, Florida State, Georgia Tech. Although if Florida State loses and Virginia wins, you'd almost have to put Virginia above Florida State in the conversation.
Yes.
Here's me thinking through that in my head, playing the logo game. Like, how could you possibly put Virginia above Florida State? But they just beat them last week.
Yeah.
So this is a really big game because Louisville's also undefeated, like I mentioned, and they're playing for everything. And they got a great team. Jeff Brom, Miller Moss. I don't know if he's been like as good as I thought he was going to be, but I don't know how much it matters. Like Isaac Brown's a dog running the football, good defense. Just a huge game. Can Virginia go in there and outscore them? That's what it's going to come down to because they're not going to get stops on defense. But Chandler Morris and that offense is humming.
This is a weird one because every time I watch Louisville, I come away like more perplexed by what their identity is because I don't know what it is. I mean, they got off to such a disastrous start last week against Pitt, and then
down 3 scores, I think.
They were down 17-0 in the first quarter.
Yeah.
And then came back and like either the game was tied or they had the lead going into the second half, and then they come back again in the second half and wind up winning the game. That was also a weird situation for Pitt where they like benched Eli Holstein at the end of the game. That was a weird watch for anybody that was dialed into ESPN2 the other day. So I just don't know what Louisville is. I do know what Virginia is, and that's a team that can score with the best of them. It's one of the best offenses in the country. I don't know that Louisville's defense is up to the task, and I don't know that Louisville's offense is cohesive or, dare I say, coherent enough. Because, again, they're just very, very strange. Miller Moss has not been as good as we thought he would be, even though they have plenty of talent on that offense. It's weird that they're touchdown favorites in this game, even though they are at home. I think Vegas might just be thinking of this as a like return to earth moment for Virginia, which is fair. But if I'm being honest with you, I don't see it. But I have to trust Vegas here. I'll take Louisville to win this game. I don't think they cover the 6.5, but listen, Vegas really respected UVA last week.
They did.
With Florida State coming to town. So I will take, and the respect paid off. So the disrespect has to mean something. This would be another awesome win for UVA if they can pull it out, and that would be an awesome story if they continued it. But I'm going to take Louisville at home and just be, a turtle.
I think the best bet of the week is Virginia plus 6.5. I love the money on it because even if they lose the game, I don't think they're losing by a touchdown.
That would be hard to see.
I also think that, to your point, we've seen spurts here and there of this Louisville offense, but we really don't know what it is. And for Virginia, we have a proven commodity on offense. They're going to score a bunch of points, and they're not going to play great defense, but they can outscore you. They literally did that to Florida State last week. Turned the ball over 3 times and outscored them. Plain and simple, right? I like Virginia to go win the game, but regardless, my favorite bet of the last 4 weeks might be Virginia plus 6.5.
Really?
I mean, yeah, there were some bets I liked the first couple of weeks, so I don't want to say like the whole season, but I can't remember a bet the last handful of weeks that I liked like this, that I really felt like, which you know what that means. Louisville's going to win by 3 touchdowns.
Well, no, I mean, I don't know about you. Underdogs have treated me pretty kindly. Like I had Oregon last week. Speaking of Louisville and Pitt, I had West Virginia against Pitt. Like those were 2 of my bigger wagers of the year that paid off on underdogs. So listen, maybe the play is UVA money line, to be honest with you, from a value perspective.
I'm going to take UVA to go win the game. My favorite bet is them to cover. And at that point, you might as well take them to win the game for the value of it. So I'm going to take UVA to go in there and win. I just think they can outscore them. I don't see Louisville's offense scoring as many points as Virginia's offense does. And you can't tell me Louisville's defense is going to be better than Florida State's was.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? They lit them up for what, 40 something? What was the final score?
Yeah,
46? 46?
Right? Yeah.
Get out of here. I know it went to 2 overtimes, but they kicked field goals in the first overtime too. They scored like almost 40 points in regulation, essentially.
With 3 turnovers, 3 interceptions.
With 3 turnovers, indeed. I don't see anybody being able to keep up with that offense, especially without having a Florida State caliber defense. So give me Virginia. Let's talk about some possible upsets here briefly to wrap up our picks. You take the reins. Where do you want to go for a possible sleepy matchup this week?
The one that stood out to me is Iowa State at Cincinnati. Well, yes, because Cincinnati is favored in this game.
Why?
Which I think is pretty strange, because Cincinnati is not terrible, but definitely not good. Cincinnati opened as a favorite in this game, which was the first thing that stood out to me on Sunday when these lines came out. I understand Iowa State has been crazy, right? They barely beat Kansas State. They barely beat Iowa.
Yeah, but everyone barely beats Iowa.
That's true.
And Kansas State was in Dublin week 0. You just want to survive with a win in the mud.
But Iowa State also struggled against like Arkansas State. They play in the Sun Belt or Conference USA. So like, that's not to say that Cincinnati has been incredible. They've played like one real team, and that was Nebraska, and they lost that game at Arrowhead Stadium. They did beat Kansas last week. So like, I don't know why this line is what it is, but I'll trust Vegas. That's one that stood out to me. But to be honest with you, Gio, can I give you a really sicko one?
Give me it. I love it.
What about North Carolina at home against Clemson?
I'm not messing with that noise.
Just think about it.
I'm thinking about it.
Think about what would happen.
Yeah,
if Bill Belichick and the Heels won that game.
The world would turn upside down.
Yes, it would be gross.
I don't think there's a chance of that happening. I don't think they have anything for it.
Yeah, I don't think so. The only other one, honestly, for me that stands out as an outright winner is I like Maryland to beat Washington in a game I guarantee you I will be watching, because listen, I understand at 3:30 we're all going to flip to ABC to watch Vanderbilt, Alabama. I will do that as well. But I'm on the laptop or on the second monitor or something, I will have the Big Ten Network open for Damon Williams against Malik Washington. You bet your bottom buck I will be doing that, because Maryland has become must-see TV. Maryland is in a position where if they win this game, they could be ranked.
Oh, easily. They'd be 5-0 with a nice win under their belt now. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, they just went on the road and beat Wisconsin, put the smackdown on Wisconsin. I understand it's all unraveling in Madison, but like, dude, you could have a ranked Virginia and a ranked Maryland in the poll on Sunday afternoon.
Call me insane. Best freshman class in the Big Ten?
Based on performance, right now it has to be.
Right? It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, Malik Washington, the quarterback, they have 2 studs on defense. I know Oregon obviously has like DeCorian Moore and a lot of impact players as well. Ohio State has a couple, but in terms of guys that are seeing the field, granted it's hard for freshmen to see the field at Ohio State and Oregon. You're right. In terms of production, those guys are all playing at a high level. Malik Washington, I mean, ESPN did a ranking of the best freshmen in the country right now. Yep. Malik Washington was number 1.
Yep. And then the 2 edge rushers were tied for like 8th or something like that, 6th or something. Yeah. You know who else was on there? Demetrius Samuel Jr.
He's a stud. He's a great player.
He's a great player. 17 years old still. Bro doesn't turn 18 till like November.
That's wild.
He should be a senior in high school. He classed up. He should literally be playing high school football right now.
One more sicko one, because I wanted to actually give this one to you and because I thought you might agree with me.
Okay.
You probably aren't going to, but I thought you might agree with me, because I know you've got some sicko in you too. I know I do a lot of sicko heavy lifting.
Yeah.
Florida,
Dude, I'm with you.
touchdown dogs at home against Texas.
I'm with you.
Team that's really good on defense versus a team that's really bad on offense. All we need is one arch pick six.
That's it.
You
That's all
know,
we need. Or a special
know?
teams tutty.
Dude, this game is going to finish 13-10.
If DJ Lagway, yeah, well, it did. Who did Florida play that it finished like 13-10? LSU? Or
Yeah, LSU was like 20-10 minus.
Yeah, exactly.
Then there was a pick six.
Right. If Lagway can just, not turn it over 5 times, he turned it over 5 times against LSU. They really, when you think about it, had a shot to beat Louisiana State.
They did on the road.
I think Texas. I'm sorry, but it's been a cataclysmic disappointment thus far.
Correct.
The horns are down. And winning this game doesn't prove a thing if you're Texas, right? So poor Texas has, you just need to avoid disaster.
Nothing to gain and everything to lose.
Right. No, I'm with you. I think it's over no matter what for Billy Napier, but I wouldn't be shocked in the slightest if Florida ended up. Here's a sleepy one for me, dude. Mississippi State at Texas A&M. First of all,
I was looking at that one too.
How about the Aggies, number 6 in the country? Shout out to Mike Elko and crew.
Texas A&M and Oklahoma are the beneficiaries of a lot of teams in the middle losing, like
I agree.
LSU and Penn State and stuff.
The vibe just feels a little different now with Elko running the charge at A&M because they've always been the team that's like close and then doesn't get there. And it's like last year, people forget they were a game away from the SEC title game against Georgia when they hosted Texas. So, watch out for A&M. But the thing I'll say about Mississippi State is they just almost beat Tennessee. They beat Arizona State. Those homies have been in every single game.
Yeah.
They're 4-1, and they should have. I shouldn't say they should have beaten Tennessee. They almost beat Tennessee, and their stadium got taken over by Vols fans.
That's right. Yeah, it was like all orange.
It was literally all orange, which is sad.
What's your read on the game, though? Because Texas A&M has now played a shootout of all shootouts against Notre Dame, and then a rock fight of all rock fights against Auburn. So what the hell happens against the high-powered Mississippi State offense?
And that's why I'm so impressed with Texas A&M, because they're showing you we'll win any kind of game. We'll win any kind of game. You want to go to a rock fight? We'll beat you there with our defense. Yes. You want to go to a shootout? Okay. We'll put up 40-something points against Notre Dame on the road.
That linebacker of theirs, I forget his name, but their inside linebacker is like everywhere. When I was watching that Auburn game, that guy was jumping off. There's sometimes when you watch a defense, like every time you watch the 49ers.
Yeah.
Fred Warner finds his way into the picture.
Yeah.
Texas A&M's got a kid like that who I think is going to be a high draft pick. So,
are you talking Torian York? Or are you talking about?
That's exactly who I'm talking about.
York, York's a beast.
York, that kid was jumping off the screen every time Texas A&M was on defense against Auburn for me. So, that's an interesting game, but
I think A&M wins it, but 16.5 is a big number.
That's a huge number.
Yeah, 16.5 point favorites are the Aggies. It's in College Station. The place is going to be awesome. Mississippi State hasn't taken the show on the road. They played Tennessee pretty well at home. Granted, it was a lot of Vols fans, and they beat Arizona State at home. So they haven't taken the show on the road and proven anything. So we'll see. We'll see.
That's an interesting one. That might be one you keep on at 7:30 as well. You got Miami, Florida State on the big screen, but you got to have what is that, SEC Network on in the corner?
Yeah. Let's see. Is it SEC Network? Yes, sir. SEC Network. Nothing in the Big Ten, dude. Like snooze.
Yeah, listen. All things considered, it's a sleepy week. For the sake of for all time's sake, what do you think happens in Blacksburg homecoming weekend?
I think the Hokies roll.
I think so too. I like Tech to win. I like Tech to cover. They're favored by a touchdown. First of all, the helmets they're busting out this week are fantastic.
You like the helmets? I don't really love the lids. I love
they feel like a blend, Gio, of the new white helmets and the old black helmets with the orange logo. It's like a fusion of those two, and I think it's a lot cleaner with this set of orange tops with the white numbers and the white Virginia Tech. I know you're not high on the orange uniforms, period.
No, they look, the unis look crisp. Like, I've come around on the unis. I love the orange face mask, but I would have like, the only thing I don't like is the orange stripe. Should have gone orange logo, orange face mask, no stripe. Don't touch the stripe.
No, I'm a helmet stripe guy. You got to have a stripe on a helmet for me. And I think they did it well. Now to your point, the script Hokies they did last year was phenomenal. I don't
that
think
with an
there was a
orange
stripe
face mask would go crazy.
I don't think that had a stripe on the helmet, but
I don't think it did.
But for a look like this, I think a stripe goes a long way. So those lids are fantastic. I think the uniforms are going to pop. Another game on the CW for the Hokies, by the way. But yeah, I think they win.
First time Tech's worn orange twice in a year in a long time.
I can imagine. Yeah, probably. I don't even want to think about it. It's definitely before.
There's people we could ask that would know the answer to that question. Yes, I can think of two off the top
this,
of my head.
By the way, they would know like this. That's like me with Washington uniforms. But yeah, I think Tech wins. I think Tech covers. You were about to say it, man. Phil's got the guys playing some inspired football right now. I think you're seeing the best out of Kyron Drones right now, and particularly the Virginia Tech running game has been really impressive. I know Wake Forest just gave Georgia Tech a scare, but that felt like a one-off aberration. This always felt like the easiest game on Virginia Tech's schedule. And it's one of the more winnable games they have the rest of the way because teams like Louisville, Virginia, Cal will be no pushover. So I'm, first of all, hoping and praying that Tech wins this game, but I do think they get it done, and I think they cover at home. This feels like one of those games that Tech – like we're like, oh, they're the better teams. They should win, but it might be close. But it turns out they just win by like 2 touchdowns.
It's also too like Tech always cooks homecoming weekend.
They do,
and it's homecoming weekend. Oh man, I'd give a lot to be there this weekend.
Me
man.
too.
I miss it. I miss Lane Stadium.
Yep, I still have my
another
we both graduated in 2 different semesters. But right. when I got to my seat at graduation, they had like a pin, like a alumni pin that they gave us to wear. I never wore it. I never even took it out, but I have it here somewhere on my desk. And every time I look at it, because on the back, it talks about homecoming. And I'm always like, I should go, but it's so much harder for me to go now.
Yeah.
I would love to be there, but we'll be watching and appreciating from afar that game. That will be my primary watch in the early window. Because again, bit of a sleepy schedule this week.
I've been fortunate where Tech has played not at the same time as Syracuse all year. Like last week, Syracuse played at noon. So I was wrapped up, got home, got to watch other football. Then I got to watch the Tech game at night. Right. This week, not going to happen. Tech's playing at 1. I'm on the air at 1:30 for pregame coverage. Cuse plays at 3:30. And we're doing a watch party and everything. I'll be on air all day. So I'm gonna miss the Tech game, but maybe I'll catch that half hour for a quick second. Get to see
it'll be glorious. Yeah. I was gonna say you get to see Sandman, just call it a day.
Yeah, just like the student section.
Very true.
They'll stick around for homecoming for sure.
I hope so.
For sure. All right. Fun one as always. Enjoy your college football Saturday. We're going to have NFL picks coming up. Although the college football show is going to come out after. So you probably already watched the NFL picks. Raza, where can they find us?
They can find us at Got It Covered FB on all of your social media platforms of choosing. I saw somebody unironically say X the other day, and it made my blood boil. So you can find us on Twitter and YouTube and Instagram and everything, TikTok at Got It Covered FB. Again, a lot more content's coming your way, so stay tuned. We're going to the moon, brother. We are going to the moon.
Peace.